class. Mark Anunuevo was removed from the meeting. Pwede ba pa-chat ako kay Mark na mag-rejoin na lang? Okay, as mentioned earlier, intermediate value theorem states that if a function f of x is continuous over a closed interval a, b, then for every value m between f of a and f of b, there is a value c, which is an element of a closed interval ab such that f of c is equal to m. So let us chop the definition of intermediate value theorem. Let's take a look with the graph as we consider m. Here is our m. As we consider m between f of a and f of b, this is f of a, and this will be our f of b. So you imagine moving the dotted line for m up and down between the dotted lines of f of a and f of b. This one. Habang nagmo-move itong dotted line na to, sana nakikita ha? Itong dotted line na to, ito po, itong tinutukoy ko. As this dotted line moves, definitely, the dot P, the dot P, will move along the tangent curve between the 2 points A and f of A and B, f of B. So from this given illustration, we can make several observations. The first observation that I want you to take a look is that as the dark dot moves, this one, as the dark dot moves, basically the vertical dotted line over x is equal to c also move. So ito, definitely, mag-move din ito. Okay? So in particular to that, the said line moves between the vertical dotted lines over x is equal to a and x is equal to b. So this is our x is equal to a and x is equal to b. Nagmo-move po yung ating solid na ang tag nito, this point, nagmo-move siya, magmo-move din itong imaginary line na ating ginawa dito na dotted line. Okay? So in particular, for any value that we assign m in between f of a, whatever we assign in between f of a and f of b, there is a consequent possession of the dark dot assign a corresponding value of c between and b. Kapag nangyayari yon na meron tayong na-assign dito kay f of b in between kay f of a, meron tayong c na makukuha, then that illustrate the intermediate value theorem. Okay? Naka-join na ba si Ano Nuevo? Na-chat nyo? Nandito na, nakita ko na. What is meant by this illustration? Let's take a look with this one. Given that the function defined by f of x is equal to 2x minus 5 in the closed interval, let us verify that the intermediate value theorem holds for k is equal to k is equal to 1/2. So ang sinasabi ng intermediate value theorem, if a function f of x is a continuous over a closed interval a, b, then for every value m between f of a and f of b, there is a value of f of there is a value of c. This is read as an element of closed interval ab such that f of c is equal to m. So let's answer this one. Let us verify that intermediate value theorem holds for the given function 2x minus 5 in the closed interval 1, 5, and our k will be 1/2. Okay, if that's 1/2, so solving for f of 1, we have there 2x minus 5, which is equal to 2 times 1 minus 5, which is equal to negative 3. Solving for f of 5, again, I was able to substitute the here from the close interval because our x here will be greater than or equal to 1 but less than or equal to 5. That's the close interval 1, 5. So substituting it in the given function 2x minus 5 when x is 1, then our f of x is equal to 3. When x is 5, then our f of x will be 2 times 5 minus 5. That will make it 5. So there is an m which is an element of negative 3, 5 such that there is C, an element of 1 and 5, such that f of C is equal to m. Yun ang ibig sabihin noong intermediate value theorem. We're not yet done. So, since there is there exists m such that f of z is equal to m and our m there is equal to 1/2, then solving for the equation, we could be f of c is equal to 1/2, then 1/2 is equal to 2c minus 5. You will have to substitute x using c because according to the intermediate value theorem, there will be a value of c, an element of closed interval AB such that f of c is equal to m. Then solving for c, we will be having a 1/2 plus 5 is equal to 2c. Then 2c here is 1/2 plus 5. That will give us 10 plus 1, that's 11 over 2. Dividing both side by 2 to eliminate 2c, to eliminate 2 in 2c, then 11 over 2 divided by 2, that is 11 over 4. So our c there is 11 over 4. Now notice that the intermediate value theorem holds only when the value of c is within the closed interval. So I want to ask you now, is 11 over 4 in the closed interval 1 over 5? Makikita mo ba yung 11 over 4 sa pagitan ng 1 at saka ng 5? If the answer is yes, then IVT holds. If the answer is no, then IVT does not satisfy with the given function. Makikita ba natin ang 11 over 4 sa 1, 5? Yes or no? Yes, that's correct. Okay? Kung nalilito kayo doon sa paggamit natin na ang, anong tawag nito? Kalimutan ko. Kasi sanay kayo yata sa ganito eh. Yung x greater than or equal to 1 but less than or equal to 5. Okay? So since 11 over 4 is in, you take note of the symbol. Naka-close, naka-open ako. Is in 1, 5, then IVT holds. Now, what I am trying to examine here is that here I use the bracket. However, in my answer, I use the parenthesis. Please be very careful with the symbol that you are going to use. The conclusion will be, our assumption kasi is that there is C in between 1 and 5. So ano yung C na tinutukoy natin here? There is C, an element in the closed interval 1, 5. So we are going to find what is that C in between the closed interval 1, 5. And we were able to come up with 11 over 4. The assumption is merong C na nasa pagitan ng 1 and 5. Ang nakuha nating C ay merong 11 over 4 na nasa pagitan ng 1 over 5. Then the conclusion will be, since 11 over 4 is in the open interval, not closed interval, in the open interval, then IVT holds. Maybe you are wondering, sir, if there will be a mistake using the correct usage symbol such that I use, since 11 over 4 is in the closed interval 1 over 5, then IVT holds. Am I getting the correct answer pa din? The answer is no. Magkaiba po yung meaning ng closed interval sa open interval. I hope I was able to explain it clearly during the continuity in an open interval. Do you understand?
Opo.
If you don't want to open your mic kasi nahihiya kayo, kasi I prefer na i-open nyo yung mic nyo para mas madali nga naman yung kaysa mag-type. Pero kung nahihiya kayo because your area is too noisy, you can use the chat box. Okay? Now, let's try number 2. Actually, hindi ko sinulat ang number 2 kasi kanina ko lang ito ginawa. So, for number 2, we have here f of x is equal to 2 plus x minus x squared. Our closed interval AB will be 0, 3, and our k there is 1. Okay? Now, let us um, verify if the given function, which is 2 plus x minus x squared, in the closed interval 0, 3, satisfy the intermediate value theorem when our k there is 1. So the first thing that you are going to do is to evaluate the given function using our closed interval a. Our a there is 0, and our b there is, excuse me, is 3. So we have f of 0, that's a, that's 2 plus x minus x squared, which is equal to 2 plus 0 minus 0, that will give us 2. And our f of 3, this is our f of b, this is 2 plus 3. Be careful with the negative sign kasi hindi siya kasama sa pag-erase natin. That will be 2 plus 3 minus 9, which will give us negative 4. Okay, that's correct, Nico. So meaning to say there is an element of m, or there is m, which is an element of negative 4, 2. In writing it is an open, as a closed interval, you start your whatever the smaller value, that is our a. So mas maliit yung negative 4 kaysa kay 2, yun yung uunahin natin. Mali ang pagkakasabi ko. Hindi po siya a ha. Kung ano ang mas maliit, siya ang mauuna. Kasi yung ating a pala dyan ay 0. Hindi siya pwedeng isulat na 2 negative 4. Dapat negative 4, 2. Alam naman natin na yun yung domain and range lesson 101. You start, the left side must be smaller than the right side. And then there is a C, which is an element of 0, 3, such that f of C is equal to m. And our m there is 1. So, since f of C, which is equal to 1, solving our quadratic equation, we have 2 plus x minus x squared, which is equal to 1. Solving for this, we will be, sorry. Mukhang hindi ko napalitan kanina ng C. Ito pa pala, papalitan ko pa lang. 2 plus C minus C squared is equal to 1. So negative C squared, huwag malilito kung bakit naging C, papalitan lang natin yung x ng C. So negative C squared plus C plus 2, you transpose 1 to the left side, that will be negative 1. So negative C squared plus C plus 1 is equal to 0. It's extremely difficult to solve for the roots of our C, especially if our a is less than 1. So we will be multiplying the whole quadratic equation by negative 1 to make the leading coefficient equal to 1. Kasi mahirap isolve kung ito ay negative. So multiplying that to negative 1, that will yield us to C squared minus C minus 1 is equal to 0. Then basically, C squared minus C minus 1 is not factorable. So we will be using another way of solving for the roots. It could be completing the square or using quadratic formula. In this case, I think mas madali yata if we will use quadratic formula. So for the quadratic formula, C squared plus C squared minus C minus 1 is equal to 0. Our A is 1. You list down the numerical coefficient. B is negative 1, and our C is negative 1. And we know that the quadratic formula will be negative b plus minus is equal plus minus square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. So our b is negative 1. Our formula is negative. This will be positive 1. Plus minus, that's negative 1 squared. Our a is 1. Our c is negative 1 all over 2. And our a is 1. So 1 plus minus 1 squared is 1. And then this will be plus 4 because negative 4 times 1 times negative 1, that will give us positive 4 all over 2. So this will be plus 1 plus is square root of 5 all over 2. And the other one is 1 minus is square root of 5 over 2. Now the question is, if both the roots 1 plus square root of 5 over 2 and 1 minus square root of 5 over 2 is in A, B, then both are accepted. The question is, parehas ba ang 1 plus square root of 5 over 2 at ang 1 minus square root of 5 over 2? Nasa 0,3 ba siya? Parehas ba sila nandito? If you are not sure, you can convert 1 plus square root of 5 over 2 at saka 1 minus square root of 5 over 2. Sino lang ang pwede?
Hindi po.
Hindi. That's correct. So, sino lang ang tatanggapin natin na sagot? Kasi this one is approximately 1.61. Ito namang isa, approximately negative 0.62. So, negative 0. Wala tayong negative 0. Okay. I think you are just, ang tawag nito, estimating. So, sino ang nasa 0.3? In between 0.3? Si 1.61 ba o si negative 0.62?
1.6.
That's correct. So the conclusion would be, we are going to disregard 1 minus square root of 5 over 2 because it is outside our closed interval a, b. So since 1 plus square root of 5 over 2 is in, you take note of the symbol, 0,3, close, open interval 0,3, then our intermediate value theorem holds, or it satisfies the intermediate value theorem. Question so far? Sir, bakit po naging open na siya? Naging open na siya dahil, di ba ang definition, there is a value of C, an element of AB. So, ibig sabihin yung nasa pagitan ng A at saka B. Hindi mismong, hindi yung, ano ba yung nasa pagitan sa Tagalog? Tagalog na siya eh. In between. So kung in between yan siya, hindi natin pwedeng gamitin yung bracket. Kasi kasama yung 1 dyan at saka yung, kasama yung 0 at saka yung 3. And basically, it's impossible for you to get a value of C which is 0 or C which is 3. Ang hinahanap lamang natin, yung value ng C na nasa gitna ng 0 at 3. Kaya hindi natin pwedeng gamitin ang bracket. Instead, we will be using the parenthesis. From Miko is Gera, okay lang po ba kahit isa lang po ang nasa interval? You mean, Miko, yung C, isa lang ang makukuha na sagot? O isa lang yung magsasatisfy sa IVT? Okay. Yes, okay lamang yon. But there are instances na wala talagang magsasatisfy dyan. Okay? Nagkataon lang na at least one yung nakukuha natin kasi yung mga example ko ay polynomial function. And we know during our previous lesson that polynomial functions are continuous everywhere. Nagkakaroon ng problema kapag yan ay um, ang tawag nito, radical function or rational function. Okay, I want you to try number 3. So that's f of x is equal to x squared plus 5x minus 6. Our AB here will be equal to negative 1, 2, and our k is equal 4. You verify if the intermediate value theorem holds for the function x squared plus 5x minus 6 at a closed interval negative 1, 2 when k is equal to 4. Go. If you want me to change the slide so you have the guide, just let me know. Here's the slide. the resulting quadratic function is not factorable, then I think you need the quadratic formula for you to find the values of C. Do not forget to change the variable x to C. Yes, Miko, dalawa yung makukuha dyan kasi definitely dalawa talaga dahil quadratic siya. Pero titingnan mo dyan kung parehas ba yung value na nakuha mo, nag-satisfy ba siya parehas kay IVT. Ibig sabihin na nag-satisfy, nandito siya sa loob. Nasa negative 1, 2 ba siya? Kung ang sagot ay yes, yung dalawa ang sagot. Pero kung ang sagot ay no, tingnan mo kung sino lang sa dalawa. Kung wala, then IVT does not hold. Ay, does not hold parehas. Iba ang sagot ko eh. Ten. Can you type the value of C that makes the function holds for the intermediate value theorem? Kasi masyadong mahaba yung solution natin. Gusto ko lang makuha yung C or makita yung C na nakuha. So for Miko Isguera, C will be 1. C is 5 and negative 10. Kaya lang yung 5 mo at saka negative 10, wala siya parehas. For Cedric Salonga, 1.53. Naka-radical ako, so i-verify ko muna. Hindi naman ako mag-solve. It's only for the checking purposes that I ask you to type your C kasi mahirap i-type pag naka-radical. But when you are going to submit your answer through the learner's management system, it should be in fraction or radical or whatever. What about the others? Only two submitted a value of their C, Nico Esguerra and Cedric Salonga. 4 minutes more. Summer students who wants to type the value of C that makes the intermediate value theorem satisfy. Sige. I'll wait. C is 2. Parehas nag-satisfy. King is Canilla. Kung 2 yan at saka 3, di walang nag-satisfy. Kasi wala sa um, op, open interval negative 1, 2 ang negative 2, 3. For Cedric, it's negative 6.53 and positive 1.53 with 1.53 satisfying the IBT. Okay, let's reveal later. Let's wait for the others. Last 2 minutes. From Ariel, this parehas ba Ariel nag-satisfy? Ariel and Carl Peter have the same answer. Kung dalawa po ang nag-satisfy, pakinote ako kung same yung value nung siya nag-satisfy or isa lang. Okay? Now, can I reveal the answer? Kasi medyo may dalawa pa tayong problem. 1.3, Mark Lewis, satisfied. Okay. For number 3, let us verify if the intermediate value theorem satisfy for x squared plus 5x minus 6 when our closed interval AB is 1, negative 1 and 2, and our k is 4. So the first thing that we need to do is to substitute the value of A or solve for f of A and f of B. So our f of A here is negative 1. That's x squared plus 5x minus 6 That will be negative 1 squared plus 5 times negative 1 minus 6. So that will give us positive 1 minus 5 minus 6. That's positive 10. Our f of b is f of 2. So that will be x squared plus 5x minus 6. That's 2 squared plus 5 times 2 minus 6. That will give us 4 plus 10 minus 6. So 14 minus 6, that's positive 8. So meaning to say there exists m, which is an element of 8 and 10. That is for A and B. Um, C, which is an element of negative 1 and 2, such that, ST po, such that f of C is equal to positive po yung 10. Yes. Negative 10. Oo nga, no? So, therefore, dapat ito ay magiging negative 10, 8. Tama. Thank you for that. Negative 10, 8 dapat ito. Such that f of C is equal to m and our f of C is equal to 4. So, solving for our value of C, we have x squared plus 5x minus 6 is equal to 4. Change x to C, that's C squared plus 5c minus 6 minus 4 is equal to 10. So that's c squared plus 5c minus 10 is equal to a. Again, it's not factorable. We'll be using quadratic equation. Our a there is 1, our b is positive 5, and our c is negative 10. So, solving, we have negative b, that's the formula of the quadratic equation, b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. So negative b, that's negative 5 plus minus, our b is 5 squared minus 4, our a is 1, and our c is negative 10 all over 2 times 1. Kung masyadong mabilis, pasabi po ha sa chat box. So negative 5 plus minus, when you are going to simplify the terms inside the parentheses, that's 5 times 5, 25. 25 plus 40, that will give us 65. Okay, negative 4 times 1, that's negative 4. Negative 4 times negative 10, that's positive 40 plus 25, that will give us 65. That will be all over 2. Then when you are going to break down the roots, that will be negative 5 plus square root of 65 over 2. And the other one is negative 5 minus square root of 65 all over 2. And then, since negative 5 plus square root of 65 over 2 is in close interval, sorry, negative 1, 2, then IVT holds. Since negative 5 minus square root of 65 is not in the closed interval, in the open interval rather, negative 1, 2, then therefore we are going to disregard the other root. Ang kukunin lang naman natin ay yung negative 5 plus 65. I think negative 5 plus 65 is approximately positive 1.53, while the other one is approximately a negative 6.53. So, very good. Some of your classmates got it correctly. Cedric Salonga was right. It was 1.53. We also have Mark Adrian, no, failed to, parang nagkamali yata to Mark Adrian ang sign. Carl Peter also got the correct answer. Ariel Pidayo was also right. Mark Luis Gonzalez. Oh, I know may mga ilan sa inyo na nahihiya lang mag-submit ng kanilang answer. So the solution that you are going to upload in the Google Classroom, in the LMS will be exactly the same with this. Hindi naman exacto, but at least the thought will be there na yung step by step. Now, in the IVT, it can also be applied when finding for the number of zeros. Like for example, let's apply the intermediate value theorem to show that the function defined by 2x cubed minus 2x squared minus 4x plus 1 has three zeros between negative 2 and 2. So how do we do it? Let us just construct a table of values. That's from negative, that's between negative 2 and 2. But our A there is negative 2 and our B is 2. Okay? So our X will be, since that's between negative 2, that's negative 1, that is 0, that's 1, and then this will be 2. And here is our f of x. So when x is equal to negative 2, then, pwede ba idiretso ko na? So 2 times negative 2 cubed minus 2, you'll just evaluate the function. 2 times negative 2 squared minus 4 times negative 2 plus 1. So this will be 2 times negative 8 minus 2 times 4 plus 8 plus 1. So this will be negative 16 minus 8 plus 8 plus 1. Ang kalalabasan ng sagot natin ay negative 15. So this is negative 15. When x is negative 1, when x is negative 1, that's 2 times negative 1 cubed minus 2 times negative 1 squared minus 4 times negative 2 plus 1. This will be negative 1 minus 2 times 1 minus 8 plus 1. So we have negative 2 minus 2 minus 8 plus 1. Parang may mali. Tama ba? This is plus. So, 9 minus 4, tama ba? 2 minus 2. May mali. Yeah, oo, negative 1 pala ito. This will be positive 4 lang pala. Kung positive 4 lang to, so ang sagot lang dyan ay 1. So this is 1. When x is 0, so that will give us 0 minus 0 minus 0 plus 1. Kaya siya magiging 1. When x is equal to 1, so kung 1 yan, ang sagot dyan ay 2 times 1 cube minus 2 times 1 minus 4 times 1 plus 1. This is 2 minus 2 minus 4 plus 1, negative 3. Tama ba po? 2 minus 2, 0, negative 3 yan. When x is 2, ang gulo na solution ko. So when x is 2, we have 2 times 2 cubed minus 2 times 2 squared minus 4 times 2 plus 1. So that will give us 1. Am I correct? Okay. Now, how do we know if the intermediate value theorem satisfies the function that 2x cubed minus 2x squared minus 4x plus 1 has three zeros between negative 2 and positive 2. We'll just look at the value of our y once we substitute the value of x. It should be an alternate sign. So if that's the case, then the conclusion will be f has a zeros. Remember the zero class, it's not literally zero talaga na number. That's the value of x that will make the whole function equal to 0. Okay? Ibig sabihin roots ang ating kinukuha dyan. So ang gustong sabihin ng problem number 2, meron tatlong roots na nasa pagitan ng negative 2 and 2. Okay? So f has a 0 between negative 2 and negative 1. between 0 and 1, and between 1 and 2. Paano ko nalaman yan? Tingnan mo yung f of x from negative tapos positive. Ito naman from positive tapos negative. Tapos from negative tapos positive. Kaya meron siyang tatlong zero sa pagitan ng negative. Una, sa pagitan ng negative 2 and negative 1. The second one is in between 0 and 1. And the third one is from 1 and 2. Clear? If you're going to get the exact zeros, then you can do it using graphing. Kates. Mas madali ba siya kasi mag-ano ka lang eh, magsa-substitute. Kapag hindi po siya alternate ang sign, then wala kang makikitang zero in between that interval. Halimbawa, yung nasa negative 1 at 0, ito po, negative 1 at 0, dahil pareha siyang negative, then basically, you can't find a, ano pala nito? A 0 between negative 1 and 0. Kasi parehas ang sign. Same thing with the values of y are both consecutive na parehas negative. Excuse me. Okay, I want you to try apply the intermediate value theorem to show that the function defined by f of x is equal to x cubed minus 6x plus 3 has 3 zeros between negative 5 and 5. I-type nyo kung ano yung, kung saan tayo nagkakasiro. Ito pala ako sagot. Meron na pala sagot. Sorry, hindi ko nabasa agad. So from Ariel, -3, -2, 0, 1, 2, 3. From Bon, -3. From Cedric, apat, Cedric. Remember, the degree of the exponent will also tell us the number of roots. Kung ang degree niya ay 3, degree means the highest exponent. Kung highest exponent niya ay 3, so dapat tatlo lang yung roots natin. Parang it's unlikely, Cedric, na makakakuha tayo ng apat na roots sa x cubed minus 6x plus 3. Ay, may joke pala sa dulo. From Ken Luis, -3, -2, 0, 1, 2, 3. From Mark Luis. Okay, I will be giving only the table kasi ang haba. Napuno yung aking paper for the solution alone. So, apply the intermediate value theorem to show that the function defined by f of x equals x cubed minus 6x plus 3 has three zeros between -5 and 5. So, constructing table, we will have -5, -4, -3, -2, -1, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and lastly, we have here 5. And our f of x here will be, so kapag -5, that's -92, -4, that's -37. Please check your own paper, -3 is -6, -2 is 7, -1 is 8, 0 is 3, 1 is -2, 2 is -1, hindi siya sakto. 3 is 12, and then 4 is 43, 5 is 98. And you would notice na ang alternate lang dyan ay ito. Alternate siya kasi -6 and 7. We also have from this one going to -2 kasi positive negative naman, and from 2 papunta naman siya kay 3. So meaning to say, f has a zero between -3, 2, 0, 1, and 2, 3. Okay? Hindi ko patanda. Ito pa. Ano pala ito sagot? Question so far? This will be your last activity for this grading. Napakahaba. Yes, napakahaba talaga. Kaya nga I advise you, kapag gagamitan nyo na to, kaya tatlo lang binigay ko. Gamitan nyo ng calculator. Here, activity to be uploaded in the learner's management system. What values of C, if any, will satisfy the IVT for the given function f and the given value of m on the given interval AB if there is or none provided explanation. Paano explanation? Maaring yung A at saka yung B niya ay wala sa domain ng function. In case wala kayong mahanap na C that will satisfy IVT. The explanation there is that C is not in the domain of the given function. Okay? Pag muna umalis, I'll be getting the attendance. Okay, that's all for today. Thank you for joining the class and see you kailan ba? Hindi ko pa alam kasi mag-exam na tayo next week so hindi ko kayo imi-meet Monday para bigyan kayo ng chance na makumpleto yung nasa LMS nyo at makapag-prepare kayo for the exam. The coverage of the exam is hanggang IVT or Intermediate Value Theorem. Thank you and good afternoon.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Bye, sir.
Goodbye.